On the evening of January 13th, 2014, a quiet night at a movie theater in Wesley Chapel, Florida, turned deadly. Chad Olson, a retired Gulf War veteran, had come to watch the film Lone Survivor with his wife, Nicole. They settled into their seats at Cobb Theaters, expecting a normal movie night. Behind them sat Curtis Reeves, a retired police captain and former Special Weapons and Tactics commander, along with his wife. The theater was dim, and the previews were playing when an argument suddenly erupted over a small but serious issue: cell phone use during the movie. Curtis Reeves noticed Chad Olson using his cell phone during the previews, which many moviegoers find distracting. Reeves asked Olson to turn off his phone and stop texting inside the theater. The request was polite at first, but things quickly escalated. Frustrated by Reeves' demand, Olson responded by throwing popcorn at Reeves. This action sparked a tense confrontation between the two men that would soon take a tragic turn. Reeves left his seat briefly to speak with theater staff about the disturbance, but when he returned, the situation became even more serious. The disagreement continued to grow as voices rose and tensions flared in the dark theater. Witnesses later reported seeing the two men argue over the phone and the popcorn incident. Reeves, who had a background in law enforcement and experience with the armed confrontations, felt threatened by Olson's behavior. This fear would soon lead to a life-changing moment for everyone involved. What began as a simple request for respect during a movie ended with Reeves pulling out a handgun, turning a night at the movies into a deadly encounter. After Curtis Reeves returned to his seat, the argument between him and Chad Olson escalated quickly. During the heated exchange, Olson threw another popcorn container, this time hitting Reeves in the face. Reeves later told police that he felt physically attacked and threatened by Olson's actions. According to witnesses, Reeves then drew a small .380 caliber handgun from his jacket. The situation inside the theater became chaotic as Reeves fired his weapon. In the confusion, Reeves accidentally shot Nicole Olson, Chad's wife, injuring her finger. More tragically, Chad Olson was struck by a bullet in the chest. Emergency responders arrived swiftly, and Chad was rushed to a nearby hospital. Despite medical efforts, he died later that same day. The sudden shooting shocked the other moviegoers, who described Reeves as calm and collected after the incident, a demeanor that contrasted with the violence that had just unfolded. Authorities quickly arrived at the scene and took Reeves into custody. He cooperated with police and gave a statement explaining that he had acted in self-defense, believing that Olson was a physical threat to him. Reeves' background as a retired police officer and SWAT commander added complexity to the case, as many questioned whether he had used his training responsibly. The theater where this incident occurred remained closed for several days after the shooting as the investigation began. The legal process following the shooting was long and complicated. Initially, Curtis Reeves was charged with second-degree murder and aggravated battery for the shooting of Chad Olson. The case attracted a lot of media attention due to the unusual circumstances and Reeves' background as a retired law enforcement officer. His defense team tried to use Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which allows a person to use deadly force if they believe they are in danger of serious harm or death. At first, the judge rejected Reeves' claim to use this law as a defense. However, this decision was later overturned on appeal, meaning the jury could consider self-defense in their verdict. The trial was delayed several times, partially due to legal arguments and appeals. In the years leading up to the trial, witnesses came forward with different accounts of the incident, some supporting Reeves' version, and others questioning his actions. The complexity of the case made it one of the most talked-about self-defense trials in Florida's recent history. The trial finally took place in early 2022, almost 8 years after the shooting. During the proceedings, Curtis Reeves described the moment of the shooting as the most frightening experience of his life, even more so than his time in law enforcement or as a SWAT commander. However, prosecutors argued that Reeves's calm behavior at the scene contradicted his claim of fear. Witness testimony and video evidence were carefully examined by the jury. In February 2022, the jury reached a verdict. Curtis Reeves was acquitted of second-degree murder and aggravated battery charges, accepting his claim of self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. The decision sparked mixed reactions from the public and media, with many debating the law's application in cases like this. Following the trial, the family of Chad Olson established the Olson Family Foundation. This organization aims to support children affected by gun violence by providing counseling, medical aid, and educational scholarships. The case remains a powerful example of how a moment of conflict over something as small as a phone in a movie theater can have tragic consequences and raise important questions about self-defense laws in the United States.